Great. So you're gonna be doing dialogue,
Cool.
and action, and you'll be thinking, and you'll be narrating, and you can help with the narration.
Okay. I'll throw a little narration in there.
Raphael, thank you, Raphael.
Mix it up for not knowing what you're doing.
You see, right, I know people off the street drunk, they can help out too.
There's a lot of help out there.
I know.
Jonathan.
Yes, you shall.
The whims of fools, the whims of fools. She looked lost for a second, captured by a far-off place, then snapped back. Next thing you know, we'll be living in huts, foraging for berries. She seemed to ponder that. Doesn't sound that bad, really.
He preferred pistols. He liked knives, close-range weapons.
If she worries about the lint in her belly button, she will look for it with her finger. As if her finger is a one-eyed monster, she'll look for the lint and scratch for it with the monster's one tooth, the tooth that covers its eye like a lid, and she'll be able to feel the link between her navel and her clitoris.
All of that. Before he shoved me from the ledge, the counselor told me I had the most beautiful green eyes he had ever seen.
You gotta be shitting me. She sounded skeptical. No shitting involved, he remarked, unless that's what you're into.
How did people make quick money in this town?
I repeated the process with my remaining purchases.
Dropping my luggage with reckless abandon. Isn't it funny that there's a monk in the airport? Everyone is quietly trying to take his picture without giving themselves up.
The easiest life can sometimes be the hardest of all.
He pulled his wallet out, dropped it. His arms were shaking. He was making oh, wait, somebody wrote that.
Oh, yeah,
You're good, dude.
I'm gonna try a different one. There were no guarantees. Everything changed in unpredictable ways, even the best things.
So we chatted a few times. I found it pretty boring, and then he asked if I would like to. I don't remember, something. So I told him no, but I was walking home, and if he wanted, he could walk with me and hang out in the yard while I was gardening.
In my peripheral vision, there's a woman reading an article called Pilot Evaluation of a Therapy Program for Group of Children Bereaved by Suicide.
I get it, he exclaimed. There ain't nowhere I feel more comfortable than my mom's kitchen, with her cooking me up some potatoes, au gratin, and cornbread. He clicked his tongue in affirmation, as if tasting it even now.
There was nothing he could do to help her. She did not need him here. Not really.
This fire, however, is a real fire.
It seems better if you go back to the beginning of this poem and read it as a State of the Union address instead of whatever you were doing before or are doing now.
He pulled down the hidden ladder to the attic, let it drop into the water. He climbed into the dusty crawl space and made his way to a vent on the far side of the house.
I pictured sheep, like marbles, always wandering off. Pictured a madman named Armand on a grassy hill, his marbles rolling away, trying to pull them back with his crook, useless.
He was dressed in a perfect black tuxedo, cut like a knife, with an eerie set of feral horns protruding roughly from his forehead.
Dennis Farina is dead. Stephen showed me a picture on the computer. You don't like my poems? I said. Don't change the subject.
A fight broke out. A condom broke. A man raised his hand, and a woman raised her hand.
When she comes home from school on the day of the apocalypse, she's 15. The garage door has closed on her father.
I already read that one.
Classic Lucy.
Night, day, I think about getting by. It's hard to tell if I get any sleep. I feel pressure to do one thing or another. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I look up and say, give me a sign. But of course I'm kidding.
And before I got 2 steps, a giant set of gorilla arms wrapped around me. I was wrapped into a chokehold and forced to the ground. There were screams from the crowd, and a bloodthirsty vibe began creeping up through the C4 haze.
Where were you the first time you found out someone you slept with was dead?
I was actually on the back of a bus.
Yeah. Were you?
Yeah.
What kind of bus?
It was,
Short bus?
yeah. One more person. I know, right? Shazam!
That's a dark burn.
It's gonna get really dark, I know. It gets really dark. Okay, who's up? How about the distinct... Oh, Michaela, you like to do this? Well, I was gonna choose...
Lauren. That's Lauren.
I'm Lauren.
Oh, that's Michaela. Oh, shit.
AKA Michaela.
Yeah, it was a short bus. Yeah, come on up here.
Okay.
Love the dress. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lauren.
In with our own looks.
Yeah, and with your own books.
Yeah, I having fun with
Ready? Dialogue, 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 dialogue.
Oh my god.
Yes, sir.
I've never been too good with animals, I warned. Nonsense, he let out between sips. Every man should know how to mount a beast. Every man should spend more time figuring out what to do once they mount it, if you ask me, he said.
Do you like working at Kmart?
You mysterious Canadian bastard. I've run out of material in my own life.
You are on your own.
He thinks he can just buy everyone's respect. But respect isn't purchased, it's inherited.
It doesn't matter, he said.
I was 14, staring at the spice rack, when my mother told me, "You are not allowed to give a boy a blowjob."
I'm a mummy. I'm back from the dead.
I wish it weren't true, he said with a wisp of sadness. I wish there were still families that had the purity we have. But sadly, the mongrels have beset the bloodlines of the world's elite.
What can I do for you, he said. You seem unhappy.
Even though I told my mother, your mother was a real cunt, when I stopped taking my medication, you held me up so I wouldn't fall in the track anyway.
An anaconda has exploded from swallowing an alligator its same size, she whispered. I am looking at this spectacle as we speak. I am up to my knees.
Do a bit of burlesque, but nothing too touchy-feely. I just hang around and flirt. They don't expect us to, you know.
Eat, he said. Eat this.
Did you get fired from Taco Bell? Because you sure are good at spilling the beans.
Hell yeah.
I heard that, pussy.
Oh, sorry. He didn't look back, but he could feel the rank breath of the horde descend upon him.
Like a giraffe, he said. Like a giraffe, I think. And maybe a dog or something. Like animals trying to move furniture.
I am a fish, she wrote on top of page 1. Sometimes I jump in the sun after dinner and float on my back. I haven't been mistaken for dead.
Next thing you know, that doctor's going to be eating a Madeline.
We pulled up to a parking space in front of the Bump and Grind coffee house on Valencia after the driver nearly took out a couple cycles. You could see the disappointment in his eyes when the young bikers averted the collision. I almost got one last week, he said, with a trace of regret in his voice. Regret that he didn't actually succeed. A fucking taco truck got in the way at the last minute, and I had to brake.
Yeah, his friend said. I think you're right. I think my dad has a huge dick.
Can
Can you believe that William Faulkner's grave plot is the most expensive one on eBay and it isn't even in a good neighborhood?
Remember, you too could grow up to be a madman.
It used to be you didn't have to dig too deep to tell who a person was. You could see it by their property, their car, their clothes. Now anyone can just storm these gates with a checkbook and buy their way in. It used to be that only a certain type of people had that money. People you recognize.
It's easier this way, he said. Just stay down and it's all the same anyway.
End story.